Hello everyone, we're already in April 2026, and there are a lot of great roguelike or roguelite games coming out. So for today's video, I'll be sharing the best new roguelike or roguelite games you should be playing this April 2026. Well, let's get into the list. Nautical Survival is a fast-paced survivor-like shooter set in a brutal open ocean. You're in control of a heavily armed ship, fighting off endless waves of sea monsters while trying to stay alive. The game still has that survivor-like feel, but the way it plays is just fresh enough to stand out. One thing I really like is the progression during a run. Instead of just leveling up randomly, you sail around, stop at islands, and buy your upgrades there. It feels more interactive. The game is structured into 20 waves, and at the end of the run, you will have a boss fight. Spinny Dungeon is a roguelike deck builder mixed with an auto battler and slot machine. Yeah, sounds weird, but it actually works. Instead of directly attacking enemies, you spin a reel filled with symbols. These symbols decide everything: your damage, your healing, your money, even your abilities, so every turn feels like a gamble. You're not fully in control, but that's the fun part. You have to work with what you get while slowly shaping your build to get better outcomes. Visually, the game keeps things simple. Clean pixel art, easy to read screen, nothing flashy, but it works perfectly for this kind of game.
One word starts the run. Your choices.
Beyond Words is a unique mix of roguelike strategy and word puzzles, where every move you make matters. In this game, you're not just building words, you're building combos. Every letter you place can lead to something bigger, and every decision shapes your run. You can play it your own way too. Boost the letters you like, duplicate them, or remove the ones you don't need. With different modifiers, stickers, and upgrades, you can bend the rules and create some really powerful setups. Sometimes you don't want a super intense game with crazy dodging or flashing effects everywhere. Sometimes you just want to relax and use your brain, and that's exactly what this game is.
Because the right combination changes everything. Spend wisely. Build power, make smart choices, or pay for it.
The idea of "it has my face" is simple but really creepy. Something out there has your face and it's trying to kill you. You're thrown into a first-person horror roguelite where your biggest enemy is your own clone, hiding in a crowd and waiting for the perfect moment to strike. So the game turns into a tense mind game where you have to find your clone before it finds you, carefully watching everyone around you while searching for weapons and managing limited ammo, because you only get one real chance to take it down, and if you fail, you lose that advantage and become the one being hunted. The game's Seuss image aside, The Last Survivor's Harem is a simple survivor-style game mixed with loot collecting, where you fight off endless waves of enemies while picking up gear that slowly makes you stronger. The gameplay is very straightforward. You defeat monsters, gain experience, level up, and choose skills, and the real fun comes from combining different skills together to create powerful ultimate attacks. At the same time, there's a big focus on loot, with over 100 types of equipment to collect, all with random stats, effects, and bonuses. So every run gives you something new to experiment with. Cursed Words starts off feeling like a simple word game, but it quickly turns into something way more chaotic and weird. At first, you're just making words like normal, but as the run goes on, things start changing. Another character can replace his letters with numbers, turning them into wildcards depending on their position, and suddenly you're building ridiculous combos, stacking multipliers, and creating words that barely even look like words anymore, but still somehow work. Then just when you think you understand it, the game throws something new at you, like characters that replace letters with chess pieces, letting you jump across the board in weird ways, and at that point it just becomes pure chaos in the best way possible. Packmates is a survivor roguelite where your entire build is your backpack. You start every run with a small bag and a few items, thinking you can keep things organized, but very quickly, your inventory turns into chaos as you try to fit weapons, armor, and random items into every little space while also trying to line them up for bonus effects. Because in this game, placement matters a lot. Putting items next to each other can boost their power, so the way you organize your backpack can either make your build insanely strong or completely ruin your run. Temtem Swarm takes the fast, chaotic fun of Survivor games and mixes it with the strategy of Temtem, creating a game where you can build smart combos while fighting off endless waves of enemies. You can play solo or team up with up to 3 players, and if you don't have friends, you can just jump into matchmaking and play with others, working together to survive, share resources, and take down stronger and stronger bosses. And if things go wrong in co-op, the game doesn't just end, you enter Ghost Mode, where you can still support your team until they revive you, so you're always part of the fight. It's fast, it's strategic, and it's all about teamwork. Pratfall is a chaotic co-op roguelite adventure where you go down digging trying to rescue your dog. The setup is simple, your dog falls into a deep cave, and now it's up to you to go down there and save it, whether you go solo or bring your friends along for the ride. But this isn't just a simple rescue mission. The caves are full of traps, hazards, and one big problem, gravity, and yeah, falling is going to happen a lot. And if you're playing with friends, that's where things get even more fun. You can work together, catch each other when someone falls, revive them when things go wrong, or just mess around and accidentally make things worse.
Why would you do this?
Don't Lose Aggro is an action roguelite inspired by MMO raids where you play as a tank, and your main job is simple: protect your team at all costs. Instead of just dealing damage, you're controlling the fight, making enemies focus on you, either by attacking them or even by moving in a way that forces them to chase you. It's all about positioning, timing, and strategy, because if you lose control, your team goes down fast. Your companions are a huge part of the game too. As long as they're alive, they give you powerful abilities that can turn the tide of battle, so keeping them safe really matters, unless you decide to go all in and sacrifice them for a riskier playstyle. The Ember Guardian is a roguelike strategy game set in a dark, post-apocalyptic world where your only goal is simple: protect the fire. You play as a lone guardian carrying the last hope of the world, traveling through dangerous lands with your weapons and your loyal dog by your side, trying to keep the flame alive. During the day, you build up your camp, gather resources, and assign workers to hunt, scavenge, or defend, making sure everything is ready before night falls. Because when night comes, everything attacks. Waves of deadly creatures rush toward your fire from all sides, and it's up to you to hold the line using your weapons, abilities, and defenses, because if the fire goes out, it's game over.
The Minotaur.
MINOS is a roguelite where you don't escape the maze, you build it. You play as the Minotaur, protecting your home from adventurers who think they can come in, kill you, and take the glory. But what they don't realize is, you designed the entire labyrinth. Every run, you build your maze from scratch, placing walls, paths, and traps however you want, creating either long, deadly routes or confusing layouts that split enemies apart. And the real fun comes from the traps. You can set spikes, blades, fire, and more, then link them together to create chain reactions that wipe out enemies in the most satisfying ways. You can trick adventurers into thinking they're making progress, and then suddenly everything goes wrong for them.
Answered in ways I did not foresee. I wanted to save this forsaken child.
Skull Horde is an auto-battler dungeon crawler roguelite where you play as a flying skull necromancer, building an army of skeletons to fight against endless waves of enemies. This game is honestly fantastic, especially if you love necromancer-style gameplay. It plays more like a strategy game than an action game since it's an auto-battler, but you're not just sitting there doing nothing, you still have to move around, reposition your army, and pull them back when things get dangerous so they don't all get wiped out. Losing a few skeletons isn't a big deal since they come back after a short time, but if your entire army goes down, you lose a life, and you only have a few chances before the run ends. Vampire Crawlers takes the chaos of Vampire Survivors and turns it into a turn-based deck builder where you can create absolutely insane combos. This time, instead of the usual top-down action, you're exploring dungeons in first person, using a deck of cards to fight enemies and unleash all kinds of crazy effects. You'll pick a character from Vampire Survivors, and that choice changes how you play right from the start, giving you different abilities and strategies to build around. The developers say this is meant to be a fresh take on the Vampire Survivors formula, bringing its addictive gameplay into a new genre while keeping things simple, replayable, and full of flashy effects. Cesto is a chill, casual game built around one main idea, taking risks and hoping things go your way. Each turn, you pick one of 4 rows, but you don't control exactly where you land, so it could be a monster, some gold, healing, or a trap, and every option comes down to chance. So the strategy is pretty simple. You try to pick rows that are more likely to give rewards and less likely to hurt you, and then you just hope the RNG is on your side. As you play, you can pick up special upgrades that change the odds, making certain outcomes more likely so you can slowly tilt the game in your favor. It's not super complex, but there's enough going on that you can get better over time and feel like your decisions actually matter. That's all for today's list. Subscribe and like for more exciting new roguelike and roguelite games. That's it, and see you next time.